Hey guys, Utah Steve here, back for another video, one that I didn't plan on doing actually. I was going for my morning walk this morning in a local park, looking at this gorgeous day. Temperatures have been in the 70s and 80s. I just dropped my kids off at school and I looked up at these mountains from where I was down in the valley. I couldn't resist. So the mountains called and I answered. I am again on the Wheeler Creek Trail. I'm not gonna beat a dead horse. I've hiked this. There's another video for that. My last outing with Mr. T-Max, complete bust. It was snowing sideways on us during that outing. We ended up bailing. Took place right here in this campsite. Let me give you a super quick tour and then we'll talk some about the channel and some of my thoughts that have been going on, what's been going on with me personally, so that you know maybe why I've been a little bit absent from YouTube, but not for long. Anyway, here's the tour. So this is the fire pit that Mr. T-Max and I did not use, so we can't be responsible for that trashed thing. We had our tarp set up right here. Mr. T-Max put his tarp right here, and we sat right here on this log and had dinner, sort of dinner, and in fact I'm pretty sure that's one of the logs I dragged here and somebody's burned it since. Not that I'm an expert in logs, just it looks like the same one to me. Anyway, my hammock was set up right here, strung between these trees, with an insufficient tarp on it. My water bladder broke during that trip inside my pack and soaked all my gear. Mr. T-Max had his hammock set up right here, right across this little trail here. And here's how full the water is. As you saw at the beginning of the video, there's a lot of spring runoff. Beautiful. So that's pretty much the tour of this little cubby that's right off the Wheeler Creek Trail. This trail right here goes right up to the main trail. So this is just right off the main trail, not a big deal. Right along the creek. Beautiful. So because this was an impromptu hike, I didn't bring a backpack. I didn't bring a whole lot with me. This won't be a long, strenuous hike. I'm only parked 3/4 of a mile down the trail, not 1/4 of a mile as I thought last time. But anyway, so here's my version of a gear loadout. It's pretty pathetic. I grabbed what I had in the car, and I did not have a backpack. I would have been happy if one of my kids had left behind their Pokemon backpack. This is the second hike I've been on without a backpack, but I don't have as much stuff to carry because I'm not here overnight. I'm just here for maybe a couple hours is all out of my day. Anyway, here's my gear, if you can call it that. All right. I have 32 ounces of crystal clear water that I filled up at the park in my Camelback water bottle, my favorite one. I have a Belvita breakfast biscuit. I guess you say Belvita. It kind of sounds like Velveeta, which indicates there might be cheese in it, which would be disgusting. But it might be Belvita. I always say Belvita. These are really good. I like them. And I had some Pop-Tarts in the car left over from the kids. And my other cell phone that I listen to music on and use as a backup in case I run out of space on my phone, and it looks like I'm going to here, and my keys. That's my gear loadout. Luckily, I am wearing a moisture wicking shirt. Unluckily, I wore Levi's today, not knowing I was going on a hike. And luckily again, I'm wearing trail runners, really lightweight and comfortable. So that's where it's at. What I want to do right now is hike up the trail a little further. I just kind of stopped here to sit in the shade and take a breather. It's getting pretty warm already. It's in the upper 60s and it's about a little after 10 a.m. I'm going to hike a little further up the trail. Icebox Canyon isn't too far away, and I'd kind of like to go down in there and sit at a campsite that I hung out at once before. Just kind of check it out and kind of just talk about things. So let's go ahead and do that right now. There's our bridge. That is Icebox Canyon. Across that bridge, and our little campsite is just a ways up there. So that wasn't bad. I mean, obviously you didn't see the hike, but it was probably less than a quarter mile, maybe an eighth. So not bad at all. Here's our trail sign. Here's our trail going down to that bridge. Pretty cool. And by eighth of a mile, I mean from the last campsite we were at. Here we are. I hung out here the last time I hiked this solo. Had my tarp hanging up here. Made lunch right over there. And since then, somebody put a nice chair here for me. So here's the deal. If you can hear me over the river while I eat my Pop-Tart. I haven't been online a lot because of my hospital shift. I work 12-hour shifts right through every weekend, and sometimes more. And they have been killing me because, you know what, this river's just too loud. I don't have my tripod with me, so I didn't plan on this, but anyway, the reason I haven't been online a whole lot is because the shifts on the weekend are killing me. They're 12 hours, they're long days, sometimes 3 12-hour shifts. They're exhausting. 8-hour shifts mingled in. I've been working like crazy, and I started to think about how I'm missing out on the weekend, and I prefer to go camping during the week, but my kids are in school, and in the summer I've got other obligations at home, so I can't really make it happen all the time. Weekends are better, even though they're more crowded and not my preference. So the reason I haven't made videos is because even though it's beautiful out here, I've just had to work every weekend and have not been able to get away during the week. So things are changing that way. I put in for a Monday through Friday graveyard shift, which are 8-hour shifts, regular 5 days a week. And the reason it has to be graveyard is because I have 2 little boys to take care of during the day. So I need to be there for them for various reasons. Obviously, I'm a parent. And so that's going to be changing, and then that'll free up my weekends to do more things that are important to me. Not that my work isn't important, but you know what I'm saying. So that's what's been going on with the videos. I do have some new gear. I'm so hungry, I'm eating a Pop-Tart. I hate Pop-Tarts. Especially untoasted. Anyway, so I've got some new gear I wanted to make videos for. I got a new tarp since my last outing. It has better coverage for my hammock. It can be used as a shelter. I also got a footprint for my tents. For if I use a tarp as a tent, I can use it as the footprint of the tarp. I wanted to show those off, do the whole setup, and I will still make that video. If I'd realized I was coming here today, I'm looking at these 2 trees in front of me. It's a perfect place to hang a hammock, perfect distance. It would have been awesome, but I didn't plan this, so. So there are some gear videos coming. You know, they're basically 3 parts, maybe 4 parts sometimes to my channel. One is outdoor overnight adventures, mostly backpacking, but as you've seen maybe on here, I also do camping in my trailer, car camping, all kinds of stuff. I fish. So all of that gets mixed in here, which is why it's Utah Steve Outdoors and not just Utah Steve's Backpacking. Because I do more than backpacking, even though backpacking is at the heart of this channel. Anyway, I wanted to point that out because some people seem to not like when I go camping in a trailer with my family, which makes me laugh. I'm like, I'm sorry I didn't meet your expectations by having a life. Anyway, so yeah, I do all kinds of outdoors things. Like this, I hike. So there's hiking, there's fishing, there's overnight adventures, there are gear reviews and previews, and I also occasionally do a DIY, do-it-yourself video. I'm not crazy about those because there's a lot of them out there, and I feel like I'm just beating a dead horse, repeating what other people are already doing. So, I don't do those too much, but, you know, I do sometimes. So there's going to be more gear videos. A lot of people really like the gear videos. I can tell by the viewer count. One of my highest viewed videos is a preview of a little black diamond Moji lantern. And I'll put that link in the description, but I love that lantern still. I made that video like, was it a year or 2 ago, a year and a half, I don't know. I love it. It's so great. I still use it. It's fantastic. I should do a review of it, but all I can say in the review is buy one. They're 20 bucks. They're fantastic. Black Diamond's a good product. That's pretty affordable for them, actually. Anyway, so that's coming up. Gear previews, just showing off stuff. You guys really seem to like that. More overnight adventures, more day hikes. The day hikes aren't as popular, I realize, but I'm gonna do them anyway, because the main reason I do this channel, even though I like to make other people happy and inspire them to get outdoors, the main reason is for me. I get out here to collect my thoughts and try to find some sanity in the crazy world I live in. My life is changing in some very big ways right now, and I need this time in the mountains with nature, the sun on my face and my balding head, and the river running by me right there. It's fantastic, you know. You can't feel awful sitting out here. You just can't. Anyway, I've been focusing a lot more on my own mental health, emotional health, physical health. I'm losing weight. I'm just trying to look out for number one. And that's not selfish. It's just that you have to take care of yourself before you can take care of anyone else. And I'm a caretaker at the hospital and at home. So that's what's been going on. That's why I haven't been on here. It's not because I've given up. Life gets in the way, you know. There are other channels I watch. Sometimes I don't see a video from them for a long time. And then suddenly they pop up and say, sorry, you know, work, life, etc. So, life happens. Life happens, and it's happening now for me. A lot of changes, my work and home life, a lot of things. So, I need this, and hopefully you guys do too. Hopefully you see a need to get out and do something outside today. Even just walking at a park or around your neighborhood, just get out there and do something. Let's see what else. Oh, there are moose warning signs all through here. And I took a picture. Anyway, apparently there's a moose, one moose, an angry bull moose wandering these trails. And I'll tell you what, bears don't scare me. You can scare a bear off, a black bear. That's what I would run into up here. Most of the time, they do not want to be around people, but mooses will get aggressive and mean, and they will stomp you to death. So, I wasn't prepared for that, but I haven't seen him, which is good. I've had 2 moose encounters in my life. One was at a camp out last fall in September up in the Willard Basin. I had one come through my camp while I was sleeping in my tent, stand outside my tent, snort, squeal, whatever that sound is they make. He was not happy that I was there, and I eventually ended up setting off my car alarm to scare him off. And I couldn't sleep very well after that. They're huge. Anyway, the other time I ran into moose, it was this angry moose up in a place called Monte Cristo here in Utah. And these things wanted to get at this water hole where these sheep were watering, and there was a sheepdog, and we were camped a ways out, and we watched the whole thing. These mooses, a large bull moose and I'd say a juvenile male, walked through our camp, and we ended up getting in the car. Now that I think about it, I've had 3 moose encounters. Anyway, we ended up getting in the car because the mooses would not stay out of our camp. And they also kept charging at the sheepdog and the sheep, trying to get him away from the water hole. Very big, very fast, very heavy. Those things would kill you in a heartbeat. And then the other moose encounter I had was years ago with my late wife, my first wife. She and I and my 2 boys, Ash and Murphy, my oldest boys. They're now grown men, but when they were little, we went camping up in the Uinta Mountains here in Utah, and we were hanging out at this camp, and it was kind of funny. There was a flying squirrel zipping around our camp from tree to tree, opening up its little wings, for lack of a better word, skin flaps, I don't know, checking us out. And while we were watching that, in comes this moose. Now, if you've ever watched Rocky and Bullwinkle, the cartoon, it's a flying squirrel and a moose. So that we dubbed the Bullwinkle camp. Anyway, he came in and he was angry. He was shaking his head, snorting, stomping his feet, getting ready to charge us. He was not happy to see us. So we piled into the car and stayed there while he continued his little rant, rubbing his antlers on the trees. Back then I didn't make video, and YouTube didn't even exist. It was back in the early 90s, mid 90s, late 90s. And it was terrifying. And finally he just walked off, but we must have sat in that car for an hour and a half waiting for him to leave. I honked the horn. I'm sorry, every time I laugh, I honked the horn and everything, and it didn't work on him. So anyway, got to be aware of the moose up here. I am. It doesn't stop me from getting out. Anyway, I can't think of anything else. I just wanted to kind of touch bases with everybody and tell you what was going on. Be happy, have a good positive attitude, be safe out there. Contact me, send me a private message, comment down below, whatever you want. I don't always get to the comments right away because of my busy week, but I do get to them. And trolls just get deleted, so don't waste your time. Anyway, I guess that's it, guys. I'm going to sit here in this camp, eat my Pop-Tarts, drink some water, and I'll just hike back to the car. I have some weeding to do today in my yard. And now I have some video editing to do. So I will see you next time, guys. Thanks for watching this short little discussion. Take care. I'll see you out on the trail. I'm Utah Steve.